You're listening to the e-commerce edition of Hello Moxie with Nicole Donnelly. In each episode, we speak with leaders in the e-commerce industry on promoting diversity in the tech sector, the latest e-commerce trends, and how B2B brands can innovate through e-commerce. Hello Moxie is sponsored by DMG Digital, a woman-owned marketing consultancy dedicated to helping B2B companies create exceptional customer experiences.
So I am so excited. This is the amazing Laura Falco. Oh my gosh.
Falco.
Falco. Oh
Yeah,
my
do you want to start over?
Yeah, let's start over.
Yeah. People often do that.
Sorry.
No
promise
worries.
Never again. It's like when I met Tyke Bo. Do you know Tyke?
Yeah.
You met him?
Oh, no one knows
my
how
gosh,
to pronounce
the first
that.
time I pronounced his name, I swear I thought
Did
he
you
was
say
going to
Tim?
jump through the phone, and he was just like, he's like, it's Tyke. I'm like, I tried.
Come
So,
on, that's freaking
Laura-
Gaelic. Nobody knows that.
I know, right? Laura Falco.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm joined by Laura Falco. Okay, she is like the goat of Magento.
Oh my God.
Massive She's like been here for how long have you been using Magento now?
Since 2010.
2010. So she is like an original. She's an original Magento developer, and she's also director on the board of the Magento Association. Just elected, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your role on the board and what you're doing there.
Well, I just got elected, and we've had 2 meetings over the holidays and such, so it really hasn't gotten into its full-throated, everything happening yet. But I'm going to be working on getting communication about what the board is doing out to the community, because that was one of the things that I brought up in my interview, was that nobody really knows what's going on when it comes to the board. Like, what is their output? What are they doing? Who are they working with? So I'll be trying to get that information out via stuff like this.
Yes.
Blog posts, website updates, chit chat. It's always a fun way of doing it. And my other responsibility will be for getting open source contributions into the code base so that the community members can open PRs and hopefully not have it take 3 generations of grandchildren to get that PR merged into the code bases.
Very nice. I love it. And I would love for you to share, like, what is it you think is the unique value that you bring to this position that's been missing?
I think my role in the community is more of an end user. I'm not a CEO of anything. I'm just a developer, freelance that has been working.
She's just a developer, but she's much more than just a developer. So, but yeah. But she's a developer. Like,
yeah. But I'm not, I think I bring more of just a everyday Magento user perspective to the board, not so much as how is Magento going to make my agency have better ROI, or how am I going to get more hosting customers. Just more about how is Magento going to make my life easier with my clients, or if I'm a merchant, how it's going to make my life easier to get my products out the door, that kind of thing.
Love it. I also love that you bring the unique perspective of small business, right? And the challenges that small businesses have and need. I think especially in Magento, there's such a focus on like enterprise level clients and customers. But let's be honest, like over 90% of the companies in this country are all small businesses. And I think that's such an important voice to have in the space. So.
It is. My clients are all small. The one works out of his living room. They were both on Magento 1, the 2 clients I'm working with now, and that was a much more small business friendly platform. And the enterprise level changes that occurred in Magento 2 pushed a lot of those types off of Magento and into other platforms like Shopify. But it can still be done. It doesn't have to be. You don't need an entire team of developers in order to be on Magento 2. I'm the only one for one of my clients. The only reason there's a team for the other one is because we're doing a migration. So it can easily be done, and I think more merchants need to know that.
Yeah, especially merchants that have such complex workflows, That's the challenge, is that with SaaS product like a Shopify or BigCommerce, I mean, they're getting better, but they're never going to be able to have the same level of customization.
They're more of a cookie cutter. If your needs are not very custom, then those will work out fine. But the second you want to start doing something a little different, you got to start looking at Magento.
Yeah. So I got to ask you, what led you to being a developer? Like, what brought you into that world?
Actually, I had a degree in English literature.
No kidding.
Yeah. And I always joke, after I did my 5-year waitressing residency, I ended up working as a tech writer. So I kind of parlayed the English into, and I've been learning about tech little by little on my own. And the tech writing job led to being a webmaster back in the 90s. And I just told everybody I was working as a webmaster in the 90s, so I can no longer pretend I'm 30.
Well, you still look 30, so yes. So anyway,
So that's where that went.
So you started with literature to tech writing to webmaster, and then you just learned coding on your own, just self-taught.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Well, what advice would you give to other women who may be considering a career in tech space and e-commerce? Like, looking back over your career, if you were to give someone just fresh out of college who maybe has an English lit degree and thinking, maybe I should try, what advice would you give them? Especially in light of AI and what's happening now,
I would say fight imposter syndrome as much as you possibly can. It's still relevant, after 30 years of working in tech. I still have it. It's definitely...
Don't you feel like it's worse when you're in a male-dominated space?
Yeah, it can be. Speak up for yourself. Yeah. Definitely speak up, and know that half the time they don't know what they're talking about either. But they just do a lot better job pretending that they do.
So when you say fight imposter syndrome, when you say, what exactly would you say to a woman who may be struggling with self-doubt or just not being, what do you do to fight imposter syndrome for you?
Just what I just said is remembering that not everyone is as confident as they sound. There's a lot of people that will talk very confidently about things that they know nothing about. And I think it's just a matter of seeing it year after year after year, to the point where I realize now that actually is the case. At first you believe them, they know everything. They sound so confident, of course they know everything. And then you realize they don't. And
you realize then as a woman that you can speak more confidently.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because in many cases we're all figuring it out as we go, right?
Yeah. And also don't be afraid to say that you don't know how to do something, because
that's great advice.
That is something it took me a long time to be able to do in a male-dominated world, was to say, I know nothing about this, so I need help with that.
I love that advice. So fight the imposter syndrome, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Help. You mentioned one more thing. What was it? Speak up.
Speak up.
Yes. Yeah, that's really great advice. So have you had any experiences in your career where you've had men that you've worked with that have really been allies, that you feel like really supported you?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us about that. What was that experience? Or tell a story about when you had a man who...
Well, my first boss, the one that I went from tech writer to webmaster, it was working for the Japanese company NEC, and it was one of their communications divisions. And he was a huge ally and mentor, and he guided me through a lot of corporate politics, especially in the 90s, whenever there was a lot of entrenched chauvinism in technology, a lot more than there is now. It was definitely an old boys network, and whenever I would request things from certain divisions and get pushback, he would tell me how to handle. Oh, I know this guy. This is what you need to do with him. And he would not jump in unless I asked him.
That's amazing. So he let you go on your own.
Yeah,
he would just
and
give
he
you
taught
mentorship.
me how to handle these types of people that you would encounter. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And he wasn't even actually a developer or anything. He was the marketing head. So he wasn't in tech.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. Well, tell us, who is a woman in history that immediately comes to your mind, on top of your head, that you really admire? Who's inspired you?
Oh man, this is a hard one.
And it can be more than one. And it can be someone not famous.
Sounds cheesy, but my mom.
I love that. That's not cheesy. Yeah.
She manages to have a sunny outlook in spite of anything and everything going on, and it's something that I strive to achieve, to look on the bright side of things.
Yeah, that's lovely. We all need more of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. Okay, I have another question, and I totally had it in my head and I lost it. Oh, Moxie moment. I got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, tell us about a moment in your life, and it doesn't have to be career, it can be anything, where you just like really went for something with Moxie.
Oh boy. Think about this. Well, I started freelancing because I got fired from my job.
Oh.
And the reason I got fired from my job was I was very outspoken. It was an attitude thing. It was about projects that were going on, and I felt like we were being railroaded. And, one of my colleagues was like, "You're pulling a Norma Ray." I'm like, "But it sucks, it sucks." And I ended up getting fired. And looking back, it's the best thing that ever happened because that was about 3 years before I started with Magento. I started freelancing. I was able to kick office life to the curb and work at home for my dream. So, yeah.
And look at you now. Is that incredible? Like sometimes, and probably in the moment when you got fired, you're like, "What the hell am I going to do?"
It was devastating at the time.
And you probably were like rock bottom, like, "I can't, like, what do I do next?"
It was really hard.
That says a lot.
Really, really hard. All my friends were there. It was sort of my whole world to a large degree.
What did you do to pick yourself up?
I actually, it happened in May, and I had a beach share for the summer. And so I ended up going to the beach a lot. I mean, that's how I picked myself up. I went to the beach a lot. And I started freelancing in August. They gave me a severance package, so I was able to be like, all right, it's May. I'm going to the beach next weekend. My friend who invited me was like, "You can come more if you want." It's like, all right. And so I did that.
I love it.
So if you get fired, go to the beach.
Great last words. Laura, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This is so awesome. I got to give you a hug.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Hello Moxie e-commerce edition. Thanks for joining us as we bring you the latest news in the e-commerce industry and celebrate diversity and innovation in the tech sector.